Courtney, welcome to the podcast. Thanks for taking the time.
No problem.
So, new year, new team. Are you settled in Chicago yet? How are you feeling?
Oh yeah, I just got out here like 2 days ago, so everything's smooth so far.
And this is new for you. This is like big city from a small town girl. Tell me about what you're most looking forward to and most nervous about in this new environment.
I'm excited about the players. I'm excited to see to play for James. I heard great things about him. And play with Kali and Marina, Izzy. So I'm super excited. I don't really know too much about the city, but I'm open to it.
It's one of my favorite cities. I think there's a lot to explore. But I'm sure your teammates have better sense of the hot spots and things like that. So you were a free agent this past year. Talk to me about what that was like for you. How did you land in Chicago? Walk me through that.
Man, it was stressful. I ain't gonna lie. I was stressed out the whole time because it's like being in gym and trying to figure out who pick you. Like, okay, am I gonna get picked in the middle? Am I gonna get picked last? Like, yeah, you have the freedom to choose where you want to go, but it's all the negotiating and just making it make sense for both sides of it. But I mean, we got it done. Chicago was talking nice to me, so we made it work.
And you had a couple calls from some teammates to really
Oh
sell
yeah,
you on it. Is that right?
yeah. Kalia hit me. She was like, "Court, I need to play alongside a dog." So I'm like, "I got you."
And that you bring this energy to I mean, skills aside, the energy that you bring to the court and to a team is incredible. How do you stay so locked in all the time?
Man, I just be having fun. I feel like I don't take it too serious. Like at the end of the day, it's still basketball. It's still something that I love to do. So I just make sure I never lose sight of that. Like I enjoy playing basketball. So I make sure that I have fun every time I go out there.
Tell me about when you found basketball and when you fell in love with it.
Oh man, I'm from a small town, right? Folkston. So we ain't really have much. Still kind of don't have that much. So you kind of have to lean on things that got us outside, right? So my dad went and bought us a basketball goal and he put it right in front of the yard and all the neighborhood kids would come over and if I wanted to play, I mean, granted, it was my goal, but still you gotta earn that spot on somebody's team. So I think just being competitive from a young age and having wanting to be picked up, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm around a bunch of boys and I'm the only girl, so I gotta make sure I'm good at something if I want to play. So I think just that competitiveness.
Do you think, I mean, you play so big. Do you think that came from playing with guys when you were younger
Oh yeah.
or somewhere else?
Nah, I think that was it. I think trying to figure out where I can get in and fit in and do different things that can affect the game. So I think I realized that kind of from high school going into college, like a lot of guards don't really rebound like that. So I think I kind of just stuck with that and it got me here.
We're looking ahead to
Mm.
2023.
All right.
New era for Chicago,
Mm.
really. Huge opportunity here. You got a taste to play with Izzy in AU. So tell me a little bit about the energy. I mean, the personalities you guys have on the team
Mm.
is fun. And
Oh
you're
yeah.
talking, you're saying that you love to be out there. So tell me the dynamic of the team or that you expect this year for this new team.
Man, I think it's gonna be a lot of trash talking. I think we all very spicy. So I think we gonna get after it every night for sure.
I love that. I love that. And so let's talk about AU a little bit because 2 years for you.
Right.
It looks so fun. It
Yeah.
looks really fun. How do you think that having AU has helped your game, but helped the kind of the level of the W overall?
I think it gives players that opportunity to not have to go overseas, and still be able to get in legitimate runs up and down. So I think it's just a great resource
Mm-hmm.
to have if you don't want to go overseas for those 7, 8, however long.
Mm-hmm.
amount of time. So I definitely think it's a great thing that Athletes Unlimited is doing.
And when you get there and and you switch teams each week,
Right.
some people are like, that's crazy. That's wild.
Yeah, it is
Talk
crazy.
about how you're able to kind of go from teammates one week with someone, then you're a competitor the next week. Like, how do you balance that to leverage when you're playing alongside them and then attack?
I think it's just understanding everyone's weaknesses and strengths, right?
Mm-hmm.
When they're on your team, you got to know what they're good at. When they're not on your team, you got to know what they're not all that good at, right? Or
Yeah.
what is not the strongest part of their game. So I think it's just being mindful and just taking notes, right? Whether they're on your team, you playing against them, just making sure you're taking notes. But it was fun. Like you said, it's fun. It was definitely different. I mean, even being in it, it still was crazy. Like, oh my gosh, another week of a different team.
Mm-hmm.
But man, it was just fun. It was definitely fun.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And it's really crazy to see. I mean, last year, especially, so many women just get training camp contracts from that.
Right.
So when you being in the league now for the time that you have, how have you seen the league grow, and how do you think what do you think needs to happen for it to continue to grow?
I think just getting eyes on it, right? I think marketing, continue. I think it's definitely going in the right direction. I think just continuing to market the product the correct way, right? I think we saw during the women's NCAA how it was marketed, how they kind of dialed in on certain drama and certain tension, right? And I think that got a lot of eyes on it. So I think just creating those same narratives, obviously not being messy, but still just creating some sort of drama, some sort of build up, some sort of tension so people can get excited and be like, hey, like, we need to lock in and check this out. So I think just the marketing aspect of it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think you're totally right about that, is, not messy drama, but drama. Like there are two super teams this year.
Yeah.
There's a lot of movement. There was a lot of movement in the off season. So
Sure.
that's a huge part of it. And 27th season this year, when you were growing up, the W didn't have, it wasn't what it is today. So who did you look up to playing wise that inspired you to chase this dream?
Man, I looked up to the girls in my high school because this wasn't always a dream for me because I didn't think it was possible. I think I just kind of landed here, right? Like I said, just loving the game of basketball, and it just took me to the next level, and then the next level. I got to college and was told, Court, you might get drafted. I'm like, for real? Really? So I don't think it was ever an expectation I had for myself, or you hear kids say, oh, I want to be in a W at a young age. For me, it was just I want to play basketball. So wherever that took me is where it took me, and thank God it took me to the highest level.
What would you be doing if you weren't playing basketball?
Oh, I was gonna be in the military, like Secret Service type.
Secret Service.
Yeah, I wanted to do like have a team of like 6 and go be like superheroes or something. That was always like my dream because I just watched so many movies, and that was like my favorite movie. So like, and then in my high school, like we had people come to the high school and kind of get us hyped to go into the military and make us do pull-ups and stuff and see who could do the most pull-ups during lunch. And I was always right there, top dog. So I'm like, yeah, I think this is my thing right here. And then I got an offer, which is crazy. I only had one offer to go to college. Yeah, I only had one offer from the University of South Florida. And my mama was like, girl, you better go commit to that college. So like I said, it's just kind of where I ended up. It was never really like this dream that I had. It was just something that I just loved to do. And it just worked out well for me.
Sounds like this competitive spirit you have was born at a young age and won't ever leave.
Yeah, for sure.
And so were you competitive? I mean, I know that your dad was a huge part of this for you, and watching him at games, Courtney, is like you think you bring a lot of energy. I'm like, who, like, this is a competition here. Who's bringing more energy? What's it like Does he have that competitive nature? Does it come from him? Does it come from your mom? Who does it come from?
Oh no, my pops for sure. When we was young, he used to make me and my sister go outside and run. And at first he would just let us run, but then when we got like a little bit older, he would give us a little head start and he'll be like, if I catch you, just don't let me catch you. It's gonna be bad. So and then like that wasn't really threatening me, wasn't much of a motivation. So then he was like, all right, if you beat me, I'll give you $20. And that's all I needed to hear. Like,
Yeah.
so at a young age, the money motivated me. So he would give me a head start and he would be like, if you beat me back to the house, I'll give you $20. So I used
That's
to be
amazing.
going so hard. So it definitely started at that young age for sure.
That's awesome. Did you play any other sports growing up, or was basketball the one love?
Nah, I played whatever could get me out of school. So track, softball. We don't really have much sports. At my high school, I wanted to play volleyball when we have a volleyball team. So it was just track, softball, and basketball for me.
That's awesome.
Sure.
And look where it brought you. And I love that it's still the passion. Have you ever felt that you lost the passion and had to refine it, again, to kind of spark the passion to work hard and to compete, or has that just stayed the whole time?
For now, it's still here. I'm
Yeah.
I'm getting older though, right? So I think I have my days for sure.
Mhm.
But for the most part, we still rocking and rolling.
That's great. And we're glad that you are.
Appreciate it.
And this season, well, you're partnering with Moolah Kicks,
Mm-hmm.
um, which is the first basketball shoe made for women by women.
Right.
So talk to me about why this made sense to you and why you jumped on it.
I think it's exactly what you just said. A basketball shoe made by women for women. I think that was a big thing for me. And I sat down when I was with Connecticut, and they kind of just chose me for the interview. And I was like, okay, let me see what it's about. And then I sat down beside Natalie and we was just chopping it up and I was just asking her questions about the shoe and she was just telling me different things that like was mind blowing to me. Like,
Right.
for example, just telling me like, with this shoe, it's made for a woman's foot. I didn't even know that it was made differently. I guess in hindsight, we should know that a woman's foot is built differently from a man's, but I guess it was just never something I thought about. And when she was just kind of giving me all the information behind how the shoe is made, and I know a big thing for me is that I have to break a shoe in, and once I break that shoe in, that's kind of my shoe for the season. I don't really change shoes at all,
Mm-hmm.
which is crazy because when I played AU and we had to change teams every week, I changed my shoe every week with the moolah kicks, and my foot was fine. So I'm like, okay, like this is different because now I can change my shoe to match my jersey each time I want to have a different look. So I think her just informed me on the shoe and then actually playing in the shoe. Yeah, they got something going on for sure, and I'm glad I'm a part of it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think like there's no way a lot of people when they hear that there wasn't a basketball shoe for women are surprised by it. And then it's like,
Mhm.
well, they've done everything. The companies have done everything to make us feel like we are wearing a women's shoe, right?
Right.
Women's sizing, all these things. So
Mhm.
I don't think you're alone in that. And I'm excited to see you on the court with that this year. As I'm sure Natalie is too.
For
Um,
sure.
so talk to me about your pregame routine.
Mhm.
Are you like a creature of habit? Are you doing the same thing every single time? Are you just like a go with the flow? Courtney, take me through this.
I think it just depends on what it looks like. So it shifts if like my family is in town, right?
Mm-hmm.
Things have to get done a little bit differently. But for the most part, for me, I kind of keep things the same. I'm not like, oh my gosh, it gotta be this way, but it's pretty much a certain type of way. Like wake up, gotta take my dogs out, chill around the house. Like I don't really know what it's gonna look like here in Chicago just yet because I don't know the times of the
Mm-hmm.
shoot arounds and how early we have to be to the gym and things of that nature. But once I kind of figure out what the routine looks like, I don't really waver too much off of that routine.
Mm-hmm.
And realistically, we can't. Like we still have to be in certain places at certain times. So we have to make sure we're doing certain things. and like I said, I'm getting older, so I'll probably have to add in stretching and all these different things to just make sure that my body is prepared for the game.
Absolutely. And when you played with the Sun, a lot of them were saying that you've got some good taste in music and some good dance moves. Are you bringing that to Chicago?
For sure. I gotta do that. That's just me. So I definitely gotta bring that to Chicago.
What's your like pregame? What are you listening to?
Oh man. I'm a city girl.
You're the
So
small town city girl.
yeah, I'm a city girl. Man. I love the city girls. I love the city girls. I love music that's just hype music. Before I play in basketball games. So anything that's hype, I'll listen to it.
And after the game, how do you like decompress? Do you look back on a game and like study what went well, what went wrong? Are you kind of like overpass, done, I'm going to move on? What does post game look like?
So it depends on how I played. Because if I had like a bad game, I try and like dissect certain things, but I try not to dwell too much on it because the reality is we play so often that you can't really dwell too much. You got to be ready to move on to the next one. So, even if I play well, right, get on Instagram, social medias, check out all the good stuff, and then I'm like, all right, like it's time to move on. It's time for the next one. So that's kind of how I am. I kind of take a moment for it, dissect it, and then it's like, all right, on to the next.
I think that's a healthy approach.
Yeah,
I think that's a good that's a good approach. So, we talked earlier about how not really having this dream when you were younger, but now there's so many young girls and boys that can watch the WNBA. So when young girls are in the stands wearing your jerseys and screaming for you guys and saying, I want to be like you, how does that feel? Does it sink in?
It feels good. It feels like a responsibility for sure. It feels like a responsibility of just making sure that I'm leading by example, and I'm that role model that they can look up to. So yeah, it ain't so much of like for me personally now. It's not so much of like I think at first it was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. But now it's more of like, all right, Court, like you have a responsibility now to just make sure that you're doing the right things and you're leading by example in the right way.
It is a responsibility. And I think, but you know what? And I think it's a good approach to look at it in that way too. And I'm excited to see this next generation really blossom as they see it. Cause imagine having this. Like, what if 10-year-old Courtney had the WNBA as it is today?
Like, that's the fact that it would be something I probably would be shooting for.
Yeah.
But it was there. I just think, like you said, it's just more outlets now.
Yes.
Just social media with Instagram,
right.
with TikTok, with all these different avenues to just see it's visible.
It's much more visible. And I think that's, you had to dig for it before. And, there's some digging still happening, but
a little bit. It gets shaky, but you could get there.
You can get there, and people are, and that's the most important thing. Sure. I ask everyone this question: on your tough days, when things are hard, whether it's practice, life, lift, whatever it might be, do you have a mantra that you lean on to get through?
Yeah, my mama. I call my mama and just go off. I just gotta lay it all on her, and she has a way of just keeping me level headed and settling me in. So that'll be my go to for sure.
Does what's the best piece of advice that she's given you, whether basketball related or not?
Man, I don't know. I don't know. It's nothing that is like something that she said. I think it's just more her energy. I think just her energy is always just calming for me. Because I mean, obviously she's been here all my life, so it's like she
Moms
knows
know best.
Yeah, she knows me better than anybody. So I feel like she knows how to always just like if I'm being dramatic, like Court, stop being so dramatic. Like, you know what I'm saying? Or like if I am making sense, just like letting me know like it's gonna be all right. Like just hang in there.
Yeah. I love that. Mom knows best. Mom always knows best. Doesn't matter how old you get.
That's a fact.
I always just wonder at what point when people become parents, do they then like innately just like do they have it? Do they have that knowledge?
I be thinking that too. Like when I'm a mom, it's just gonna click. But I think it will because I'm real good with my dogs.
There
And
you go. How many do you have? 2 dogs?
Yeah, I got 2 dogs.
Names and ages.
So Dub, one name is Dub, and one name is Dime. You see what I did there? Dub and Dime. And if I get 2 more animals, it's gonna be Nickel and Penny.
That's amazing. I think you need to make that happen.
Yeah, but $4 is crazy. But Dub is an American Bulldog, and he is 5. And Dom is a King Charles Cavalier, like the dog of a Lady in the Tramp, and she is 2.
Oh my gosh. How sweet. How sweet.
They're a great combination for sure.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. Well, I appreciate you taking the time today. Best of luck this season. We'll be rooting for you, and Platform's always here. We'd love to have you back.
Thank you.